Sorry, you're mute.
Good evening to everyone, at the least for those who are in Bangkok or in Indonesia like I am today. I am Shahar. I am the founder and director of Junction, and Junction is a public venue based in Bangkok at the Bangkok Arts and Cultural Center. We give attention to all kinds of issues that relate to Southeast Asia, especially emerging issues, as clearly the one that we are talking today is very urgent and also very recent. As the title say, we are going to focus our attention to migrants, particularly Thai migrants who are caught in the middle of conflict in Israel. We are concerned with their situation. We are not going to discuss what is happening in Israel and Gaza at the moment. I think everyone has their own idea of what is happening, the causes, etc. But we are just focusing on the migrants themselves and what can be done to protect those who have decided to remain in Israel and those who have decided to return to Thailand. So without further ado, I am very glad to have the opportunity to present 4 people who are very much committed to protecting Thai migrants in Israel. Most of them are social scientists, and we can be proud of being an anthropologist like some of them. And of course, we also have a sociologist, but today they are going, and an architect. But we are going to talk today more as members of a group that has just emerged to provide aid to Thai migrants, particularly farmers in Israel. So they will talk from that point of view. We will start with Shahar. We had the pleasure to have Shahar few years ago at Junction. So the issue with Thai migrants workers are not new. The exploitation of them are a quite long history, but so we will hear from her and then from Yahel about the situation of migrant workers in general before going to what is happening today. So please, Shahar.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well? It is a great opportunity and a very important space to be able to discuss the situation of Thai migrants, and we are very grateful for the space that Junction gave us and for the opportunity. I would want to start. So I myself, and I'm an anthropologist. And I've been researching the migration experiences of Thai migrants for the past 40 years. And I'm doing so from the perspective of one sending migration community, a village in Isan, where I spend a lot of time with returning migrants from Israel who've been working in Israel in different periods along the past for almost 4 decades. And I kind of wanted to start our discussion and to kind of introduce you to the voices of the migrants. And what they've been writing about, what they've been discussing about, and how they experienced their time in Israel also before the war. But and one of the things that I want to present to you is a song written by a group of Thai migrants. They're calling themselves the Moshav band. Moshav is a village in Hebrew. And I think it's an example that kind of can introduce us to the issue and showing us how Thai migrants along the years, this song is from 2014, have been crying and shouting and voicing their concerns about their lives in Israel, about living with lack of protection from rockets coming from Gaza all through the years, about the feeling of being precarious workers, about the feeling of being left alone and asking who can help them. So I think this song can give us some sort of a feeling of for the rest of the discussion. Thai migrants have been resisting their conditions. You're going to hear a lot about the policy towards them in this discussion, and they've been resisting in many ways. They've been trying to resist towards their employers. They've been trying to get the assistance of human rights organizations and NGOs. and they also write songs as a way to resist, which is also what I'm writing in my own research. So I'll be happy to share with you one of those songs. There will be a translation for English accompanying it, and kind of take a few minutes to listen to the song. The song portrays a situation that many Thai workers have been living under even before the attack of the 7th of October, and they've been actually directing a situation to actually show us how those life looks like. So here's the clip.
Just the sound, Shahar.
Thank you.
ได้ยินเสียงปืนคำรามจากสนามรบไม่ไกลจากที่ทำงานเท่าไรทำไม่ได้คนมันฟลุกสงครามศาสนาเขารบกันมาช้านานมีชีวิตเป็นเดิมพันเพราะศักดิ์ศรีมันยิ่งใหญ่อยู่ผิดที่ผิดทางมาอยู่กลางสนามรบคิดแล้วน้ำตาตกชีวิตจะรอดไม่เล่ายิ่งมีข่าวคนไทยโดนลุกหลงตายรู้แล้วใจหายนอนฝันร้ายทุกคืนเหยื่อสงครามถามใครเราจะรู้ว่าแรงงานไทยที่อยู่จะรอดถึงวันไหนครามศาสนาเคารพกันมาช้านานมีชีวิตเป็นเดิมพันเพราะศักดิ์ศรีมันยิ่งใหญ่
I will stop here. The lyrics continue to express the same issues, and I will give the floor to my colleagues. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much to opening this session with such a moving song. And we are going now to Yahel to hear more about the condition of Thai migrants.
Yes, thank you so much. I've seen this video for a few times, and still it's just so emotional and really heartbreaking for me. And I can just say that as a scholar of labor markets who specialize in migration, me and here my colleagues, we do everything that we can to assist the Thai migrants. I will give some background, but I will start from the topic to say that Israeli agriculture is not the same without the Thai migrants. More than 30 years, Thai migrants have been arriving to Israel, through temporary migrant programs invited by Israeli government, and we cannot speak today about Israeli agriculture for more than 30 years actually, to speak about Israeli agriculture without the assistance of the Thai migrants. And personally, I feel that this is our responsibility to take care of them, to come back home safe, and unfortunately, we cannot do it in those days. So the day before the war, by official data, we are talking about 30,000 people from Thailand, 23,000 documented and 7,000 undocumented. Don't get too moved by the undocumented and documented. For the Thai migrants who come to Israel, all Thai migrants, more or less, coming officially and documented. There are several reasons why they lose their visa terms and get undocumented, but all of them came legally, and most of them will leave Israel. It's not the issues about integration and staying in the Israel society. Because of the language barrier and cultural barriers, most of the Thai migrants do not overstays for a longer period, but of course there are some. But I'm talking about those situations because you should understand that when we're talking about 30,000 people, we are talking about the majority of those working in the fields, mostly in the south, in the Arava area, and in the north and in the center of Israel, in rural areas, to conclude that. As I mentioned, all of them are under a program, an official program, since 2012, under a bilateral agreement. Now, when Matan will speak about the situation today, you will see that this is under arrest as well. But since 2012, there is a bilateral agreement between Israel to Thailand. In the beginning, it was through the IOM, the International Organization of Migration. And since 2020, it's directly from the Labor Department and the official labor office through a project called TIC, Thailand-Israel Cooperation. So all Thai migrants are coming officially and taking care that they will not pay extensive recruitment fees to arrive to Israel. Now, the Thai migrants come here officially for 63 months, which is 5 years. They are, as I said, separated in Israel in rural areas for 3,000 employers, most of them in the private farms of the Moshavim, which is the villages, and some of them in kibbutz, which is a cooperative way of living. Now in the Gaza area, in the conflict, we've seen quite a lot of those. Specifically, in the day of Saturday, the 7th of October, the beginning of the Hamas-Israel war, we estimated that in the Gaza area, there were 6,000 workers, 5,000 of them documented, and another 1,000 undocumented. But also in these circumstances of war, we see the north as next to the Lebanon and Syria border as another conflict area, and estimated about with 1,000 workers in these areas. Now, talking about the Thai migrants before the war, we are talking about them living in the farms next to the employers in temporary accommodation. By law, it's allowed to put the accommodation in the fields, in the agriculture areas, which mean that most of the accommodation are temporary. We see some in the kibbutzim are buildings, but the majority of them are caravan and containers, which is temporary, and that gets really relevant in the circumstances of the attack in 7th of October, because temporary accommodation is very easy to be burned and very hard to lock, and the shelter are outside of the accommodation. That's also relevant to the way they go. In other circumstances and other perspective of human and working rights, we see and we investigate quite a lot of violations in their working rights. The minimum wage is, the agriculture sector in general is the industry which you have the most violation with the minimum wage. And for Thai migrants, that include also higher dedication to deduct about accommodation, and also with the situation of overtime and etc. And And about the accommodation, as I said, we see quite a lot of violation about the way of this accommodation is resilience, and you have all the facilities that you should have. And I would say that in general, before the war, we are talking about a long phenomenon, more than 30 years, for 30,000 people in 3,000 employees around the country, which all of the scholars here, include me, were dedicating our research to see and to involve in preserving their rights. And a lot of the problems that were before was extremed in the attack of the 7th of October, and my colleagues will continue to elaborate about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for providing this complete, although very brief overview of the issue at stakes. And we are going now to Matan Kaminer, sorry for mispronouncing your name, an anthropologist, another anthropologist, and he will talk about the situation since the 7th of October of this year.
Thank you, Rosalia. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm an anthropologist, as you said, which means that, like most anthropologists, I'm not very good with numbers. So this is what we have Yahel here for, the sociologist, in case I mix up any of the numbers. But I can talk more generally about what we've been up to since the 7th. Our group was founded kind of on the fly. It does include a lot of academics, but also a lot of non-academics. We're as part of the kind of a general upwelling of people wanting to help and of solidarity within Israeli society in the first week after the war began. We also found a lot of new people who are interested in this topic. As I think you could have probably gathered from Yahel's previous presentation, Thai migrants in Israel, generally speaking, are not of very, very high concern on the public in public sphere, and I'm putting that very mildly. Because of the way that they were targeted by the attack, I think that we found a new opportunity, a new window of opportunity for people in Israeli society to really care about these people. We've had a lot of donations and a lot of people willing to volunteer, and we're really hoping that in the near future this interest and this solidarity remains, because it's quite crucial. So what basically happened beginning on the 7th is, in addition to the attacks, the abductions and the murders and etc., all the other things that directly affected the migrant community, people needed to be evacuated. Basically, the whole population, or the majority of the population of what is known as the Gaza envelope area, the area around Gaza, the area that suffered the attacks, was evacuated. This took some time. It didn't happen all at once. I'm talking about the Israeli population as well. But whereas the Israeli population, generally speaking, there have been a lot of mishaps in this regard too. But generally speaking, the Israeli population has been taken care of quite well. Has been sent to hotels and in other parts of the country, receiving psychological support, receiving aid in terms of food, medicine, everything else that they need. The migrant community was left untaken care of. And in addition to us, basically what happened was in the first few days when we were involved, but also lots of other actors were involved in evacuating Thai migrants from the Gaza envelope area. And eventually the actors that took responsibility for this evacuation are the manpower companies, the manpower agencies. Now, legally speaking, they are the ones responsible for this. So in that sense, it's quite good that they did so. But in another sense, it's quite problematic because the manpower agencies are obviously for-profit businesses that are in touch with the employers, that have a common interest with the employers, and that common interest is getting people to work and send money. Now, the Israeli farm sector, agricultural sector, is kind of perennially in a labor shortage. And of course, once the war began, Palestinian workers from the West Bank were also barred from entering Israel. So the labor shortage became that much bigger in all over the country. So we had a lot of pressure starting from the very early days of employers wanting to get the evacuees, the migrants who have been evacuated from other parts from the south and a little bit from the north, to work on their own farms in other parts of the country. Now, it should be said that those people who want to work, and many people do, there's absolutely no problem with that. and we're, you know, we've been happy to assist people who needed to get to places where they wanted to work, etc. But in addition, we, as far as we're concerned, and as far as the law is concerned, there are two other options. One option is to go back to Thailand, and this is something that the Thai embassy and the Thai government has been very active in providing this option. But the third option is to stay in Israel and to rest and recuperate in the same way that Israeli citizens who are victims of the attack have had that chance. And unfortunately, this right, even though again legally it's completely clear that they have this right, and even though the Population and Immigration Authority says on paper that they respect this right, in practice, workers who have been evacuated and who didn't take the option of going home have been pressured to go back to work. Basically, they don't have a place to stay if they're not willing to work for another farm. And some people have even been sent back to the Gaza envelope area. It's also important to understand that the farms there, agricultural generally is the kind of economic sector where if you don't work all the time, the losses are great. You know, the crops can go bad, livestock can die, that sort of thing. And farmers in the Gaza envelope area, understandably, of course, want to keep their farms running. They don't want their farms to collapse. So a lot of Israeli volunteers have been going to these farms to help, which is of course wonderful. But a lot of workers have also been taken back to farms. And I want to be careful here, but I think we have a consensus within our group that different degrees of coercion and have been applied to get people to go back to working in the envelope area, which is still under fire. I think this is important to address. The war is ongoing, and of course, Hamas is growing weaker, but they are still firing missiles, and people are still being injured and even killed by these missiles. So the current situation is one in which we've changed basically tack from in the first week or 2 weeks, we were very much involved in just getting humanitarian aid to people, food, clothing, that sort of thing, medicine, medical aid. Now that everybody who's still in the country has basically been spread out to different farms, then our tack is much more at the advocacy level, working with government agencies, with international agencies, and with public opinion, both in Israel and abroad, of course, including in Thailand, including the people who have come here today. So this is the current situation. It's in some ways, I would say, as somebody who's been working in solidarity with this community, in some ways, for many years, it's an opportunity. Like I started to get more people involved and more people working in solidarity with the migrant community in Israel. But in other ways, it's quite a dire situation, and we really need more international attention, more international solidarity, especially from Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now the last speaker, Zohar, she will tell us more about what the organization, this group is doing, and then we will go back to Matan to get his vision of what needs to be done. So please.
Hello, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen. It's okay. Okay, so good evening. It's a pleasure to see you all here today for this important issue. My name is Zohar Shvarzberg. I'm an architect, and my master's thesis explores the gardens that Thai agricultural migrants establish here in Israel. Today, I'd like to present you with the work and the activity of our group, Aid for Farm Workers. Let's fast forward to the peaceful times before the war. I just finished writing my thesis when Danit Rosner, who is an interpreter from Thai, proposed a wonderful idea to organize meetings of Israeli and Thai agricultural migrants. During the following summer of 2023, we organized 2 meetings in which Thais and Israelis met, ate together, spoke, sang, and the atmosphere was very, very special. Both Thai and Israeli participants enjoyed them very much. As part of the organization of these meetings, a WhatsApp group was created for the Israeli participants. This group became the infrastructure for the establishment of our volunteer group after the war began. On October 7th, as the war began, the members of our group expressed their concern for the Thai workers in the Gaza envelope in a group. On the next day, we enlarged this group and established aid for farm workers to help Thai agriculture workers who were affected by the war. Our grassroots group consists of scholars whose research deals with Thai workers in Israel, activists, and other volunteers. And we work in collaboration with associations such as Physicians for Human Rights to promote medical and mental assistance to the workers, as well as food, necessary equipment, and resolving various difficulties. We can see here in the map, the area which was directly targeted on October 7th is the Gaza envelope over here. Prior to the war, as said here before, between 5,000 and 6,000 Thai agricultural workers lived and worked in this area. During the Hamas attack, many workers, Thai workers, were taken hostage or murdered. In the first days after the war, many of the workers in the Gaza envelope were evacuated to safer areas in Israel, as seen here on the map, in the center of the country or the south of the country. They were received in designated compounds where our volunteers provide them with food, medical, and mental aid, and kept touch with them regularly in order to meet their needs. Here we can see some photos from the compounds where the migrants were evacuated to. We can see how we supplied food and equipment to these to the workers in these compounds. In some compounds, Israeli chefs who specialized in Thai food prepared meals for the workers. And in these pictures, we can see medical aid and information being given to the workers. Several days after the attack, the Thai embassy in Israel started evacuating Thai citizens who were willing to return home. Until now, over 8,000 Thai workers have returned to Thailand, and over 20,000 are still here in Israel. Hence, our volunteer work now shifts and focuses on online aid to those who are here in Israel, as well as workers who have returned to Thailand, on contact with the families in Thailand, and on raising awareness to the Thai workers' situation through social networks, local and global press. We established a multilingual hotline in collaboration between our group and the Bar-Ilan University in Israel. Furthermore, in collaboration with the Chula University in Thailand, the university now offers free online therapies for Thais affected by the war. And we invite you all to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we go back to Matan for the last word for now of what you see that needs to be done looking to the future.
We decided that I will take this take this slot about the future programs. So hi again. I would we would say that for future plans, first of all, we are concerned about the continuation of the war. That's for A. We are still under attack, and we see conflict in different areas, and the north, as the situation with the Hezbollah, which is the Lebanon and the Syrian border, are yet to become, hopefully not, but maybe we will see some situation there that needs our assistance with the Thai migrants in this area, as it's a rural area mostly. This is for one. The second one is we are very concerned about some policy regulation, changing of the policy regulation about bringing new agriculture migrants not through a bilateral agreement. It's already been said and published that 5,000 agriculture labor migrants will be arriving to Israel through private companies. That's not about Thailand, but it's for other countries of origin. and that's concerned us. I can say that specifically my PhD is about the migration industry, and I can say it's very, very strong, and in a time of conflict and time of shock, it's really come, and we are concerned about collecting extensive recruitment fees. Specifically for the Thai migrants, except of the North, we are concerning for the rights of the migrants who came back, both from Israel and also from Thailand. In the Israeli side, we are concerned that the people that have been harmed, and we are talking about 80 people who harmed from the conflict on the 7th of October, some of them kidnapped, some of them murdered, and some of them are still missing. So we are concerned about them and their families recognized as victims of terror act, and that means compensation of money by Israeli law. All people who are harmed by a terror act deserve to get compensation money-wise, I mean. And also we are concerning on the continuation of identifying people who have been murdered, as well as finding the missing ones. We are concerning that 8,900 Thai migrants has returned to Thailand by the country, by the states, saying that they will support them as they return. And we will. This is not us to take care, of course, because we are in Israel, and well, yeah. You can see that we have some limited, of course, responsibility and authority about that. But we are concerning that the Thai migrants who have been to Israel and harmed from this government or needed to go back will get the support that the Thai government has promised, and also the Israeli ones, including the compensation that I just mentioned. And our work with the mental hotline with the Chula University is also a part of it, because it's addressing the Thai migrants who returned to Thailand, but also the one who stayed. And I will say that concludes our concern in the moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we are going to open for a question. I think we have gotten an idea of the situation, and indeed some suggestion of what still need to be done. So I open the floor. If you have any question, you can write in the chat room, or you can raise your hand for those who are here on Zoom. Also, you can, for those who follow on Facebook, you can also provide question on Facebook, and we will be informed about that. Anyone? No, so maybe I can. Huh?
Hi, thank you so much for putting this together, and for all the work that you all have been doing. It was very informative. The very basic question, which is
yourself, please.
Okay, hi, my name is Julie Fox. Since the start of the war, I've been finding and connecting the families of those who have been listed as missing or hostage from the October 7th attack, and speaking to them in an effort to also do a media campaign to highlight in Thailand and the world the international hostage crisis, while also working with the Matan Mishpachot HaTufim, the family forum, to see what support can be given. So I'm very happy to hear about all of the work that everyone here is doing and has been doing. It's a really basic question. I was just wondering, I know that a lot of the families don't have computers. I was wondering if this hotline that has been made available is also, if you just have a telephone, are you able to call a number and get services, mental health services, or do you need a computer to be able to do that?
Okay, we have two more questions before you answer. So Lee, Philip, Flip, and Max. Please, Lee, introduce yourself and.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, my name is Lee Philip. It's the first time that I'm hearing about this webinar. I just went to a conference or something about the kidnapped, and I just saw some of the pictures of the Thai workers, and one of them did not even have his age, and it just really broke my heart. We don't even know how old he is. So and I tried to, we see the babies and we immediately get connected to them. So I just looked online a little bit to understand about their lives, and I saw the webinar, so I joined. And I'm not sure if the previous question covered it, but I guess my question is, how do people communicate with their families? I'm sure many are also terrified, and if there are any support for the families abroad. And also I'm from the UK, and I just wonder, like, what, even if little things, what it is that I can do. Yeah, that's my question.
Very much. And we have Max, please.
Hi, my name is Max. I'm a journalist for the LA Times, and I'm actually headed to Thailand later this week to interview some of the families of the Thai workers who are being held hostage, and hopefully also meet some workers who evacuated from the conflict zone. My question is, why do Thai workers choose to go to Israel at all? I understand the lack of recruitment fees is a big perk, but countries like South Korea, and I recently did a story about migrant work here, and many Thai workers come here as well. South Korea also has no recruitment fees. I believe Japan doesn't either, and I think there's another Asian country. So what sort of advantage does Israel offer for Thai workers?
Okay, we have one more question, but I will keep it. Smadar Gabrieli, please bear with us. We give an opportunity first to answer these three questions. Who want to take the lead?
I will begin. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for your interest. I'm in touch actually with two of you, with one of you, sorry. First of all, we are with Julia. We just talked a few yesterday, so we are already in touch and doing something together. Well, you need to understand that in the early days we just making lists to see who's missing. Now the question who's kidnapped is a good question. Now until the Hamas will release an accurate list of the people being held in Gaza, we will not know that. So actually, our group decided that we will deal with the missing one, or with the list, to understand who's missing, and we will leave all the kidnaps, all the handling and campaign of the kidnaps to the headquarters of the campaign for the kidnaps. Of course, we collaborate, and we already passed names, and we talked with quite a lot of families, and we gave the names and details for the kidnaps, suspected to be kidnaps, from the family who approved to us, who gave their approval to give those details. Now, for the second question, it's actually to say we know that the age of all the missing people, and we know where they were, and we know the names, and for almost 99%, we already talked with the families, so the knowledge is there. For some families, their approval to be a part of the campaign is not given, and you should understand that. Well, you have it's an Israeli initiate, and the Thailand government is handling the situation as well. I'm not saying that from personal knowledge. I'm saying it from the knowledge that we receive from the media that says that Thailand is taking care of this situation in its own manners. This is for the second question. For the first one, they have cell phone. I've spoken to most of the families. They all have cell phones. And if not by themselves, somebody next to them. And so the hotline can be through Zoom and with the cell phone. And we are checking all kinds of options as well, because the university is in Bangkok. Of course, the people are coming not from Bangkok, but from faraway places. But if somebody will tell us that he will only want to speak with somebody in front of him, frontally, I think we can handle it, and we can find the solution. This is something that just began a few days, actually, a little bit more than a few days, and we're still handling it, but there is a will, and we will do it. For the third question, I think maybe Matan, you want to answer why Thailand?
Maybe I ask some
I think
other
Shahar wanted to.
speaker, Matan or Shahar.
I can answer. I think it's an important question. The answer for it is that most of the workers that work in Israel, so you ask why they come to Israel. So most of the workers that come to Israel will usually engage with multiple cycles of migration. So they will go usually to all those places that you named and to all those labor markets. So in Israel, they can only work for 5 years. That's what the policy is instructing, and they cannot not return to Israel. So workers will work in Israel. Many people that I spoke with, Matan, Yahel, and all the others, are constantly in continuous experiences of migration to exploitative markets. That's very important to say. So they will work in Japan, and they will work in South Korea, and they will work in Bangkok, and will come to Israel, and so on. And I think what Yahel emphasized in the end is that the situation now of Thai migrants made them even more precarious. But they were in a precarious situation to begin with. There was no enough enforcement of their labor rights. There was no enough attention, public attention to their situation. And very few people, together with other civil society organizations such as Kav Loved and Physicians for Human Rights and others, have been fighting for years. I think what we see now is an escalation of their situation under the extreme condition of the attack and the war. But the infrastructure for their rights violation existed before. And I think, as Matan said and Yahel said, I think now we have an opportunity, all of us who are giving attention to this issue, to emphasize the conditions of the workers now, but also to think how we can actually all work together to change the Israeli migration regime, to create more enforcement of workers' rights in order to not to duplicate this precariousness also with other migrants who are now coming to Israel.
Thank you. Okay, we go to a second round of questions, probably the last round before some concluding remark. Smadar Gabrieli, please. And then we have also a comment from Facebook. If anyone else has question, please do it now, because this is the last round. Please, Smadar.
Yeah, my question is mostly technical. I know the Thai workers are the largest group, but as we all know, the Sri Lankans, the Nepalese, the other nationalities, do they come under the umbrella of this group? Are they being taken care of? Do you have hotlines in their language? Or are they the sort of transparent within the transparent?
Okay, we go to Rakesh, please. Rakesh.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I very much, my question is very much connected with the last question. Do you have also data about other workers from other countries, South Asian workers? Because I am based in New Delhi, so I'm very much interested about Indian, Nepali, or Bangladeshi workers, those who are stranded. Further, like just adding other addition, I do want to understand how critical is the need to evacuate farm workers from Israel. We do want there's a problem, there's a crisis and conflict going on, but many of these workers may have invested lots of money to migrate, to go from Thailand or from South Asia to Israel. Now asking them to come back, or if we see governmental intervention where governments wants them to come back, what kind of impact this return will have on their economic vulnerabilities? They may have already spent lots of money to go there.
Okay, and then the third question, which was from Facebook, is what about the Thai workers that have been forced to go back? I mean, what is being done for them, or you are doing, or other groups are doing? If you were talking about a certain level of coercion, what can be done then to address this? I will give the word to those who didn't speak the previous round. So Matan first, Zohar, and then the other two, please.
Okay, I'll try to answer the second question, and I think the third, if that's okay. At least the second one for sure. And if any of the others wants to answer the number three, let me know. If I understood you correctly, sir, you're asking about what people can expect, the people who are going back home. And I think you've alluded to some of the major problems that existed in this regard. So many people have debts. They've gotten into debt in order to go to Israel in the first place. So there is a dimension of what the literature calls debt bondage. Often people who have who are, even if they maybe would have liked to return to Thailand earlier, often really can't, because they have debts that they need to repay before they do so, and this can take from months to years, depending on how much people have had to lend in order to get to go to Israel. So cutting one's sojourn in Israel short is a problem for people in debt, as is merely resting. As I mentioned before, this is the right that people have, but a lot of people will not be too anxious to exercise that right, because they need to keep working, whether they would like to or not. They and their families simply don't have the luxury of not receiving any income for weeks or months at a time. So people who are going back to Thailand, basically what we've had is I would call a sort of a slight tug of war between the Israeli and the Thai governments, each one of them offering some incentives to people either to stay in Israel or to go back home. And at a certain point, the Thai Prime Minister declared that the Thai government would match anything that the Israeli government was offering. I don't know where things stand at the moment. I'm not the biggest expert on Thai politics and on how, to what extent the promises made by Thai politicians can be trusted in this regard. But I would say that if I were a worker, I would have every reason in the world not to rely on such promises, and I would be very worried about going back home, whether I had debt. The Israeli government has also promised that it will let people return. And this is something that we're actually more certain will happen, not out of any altruism on the Israeli government's part, but merely because of the shortage of labor that we've already discussed. So it's in their interest to let people return at the moment. But everything is happening very, very quickly, and these are very complicated bureaucratic kind of procedures. So a lot of things are really up in the air. We're all, I think, concerned that the various dimensions of corruption and fee gouging that have been part of this process over the years will be coming back into the process, especially because it's being done so quickly and so hastily. So there are a lot of things that we still don't know, and we need to keep our eye on.
Yes, Zohar, you want to add?
Yes, regarding the workers who are being forced to work, so it's very important to reach these people. So we try to reach them in several ways. If they can reach us directly, it's the best. They can reach us directly, and we try to help. Also, we have the hotlines, which I presented before, which are in the Thai language, and we can outreach them through these hotlines. they can call the hotlines and describe their situation. And then their situation, the hotline will give us the information and we will try to help them as much as possible. Also, they have the Kavla Oved, which they know. And the Kavla Oved has people who speaks Thai and they can speak to them. And Kavla Oved tries to help as much as possible.
Any other comments?
Yeah, what about the other, the non-Thais? There's no answer about that.
Yes, that will be me. Yeah. As you said yourself, this is the largest group after Israelis. The largest nationality being harmed by the attack. But there are also other from other countries. We are talking about one Sri Lankan and Nepalian kidnaps, 10 Nepalian murdered, and 2 Tanzanian as well under the kidnaps. I'm sorry if I've got it mistaken. It's not written in front of me. But our group is specialized in Thai. But we received in the early beginning of the project all kinds of calls and asked for help. There was not a single one who asked for help, and we didn't help it as best as we can, 100%. That was also Filipinos asking for emotional support. That was for all kinds. We are migration scholars, we are civil rights activists, we are volunteers who are dedicating our time now under this crisis for ourselves as well to help any migrant worker, to any person, but our expertise is about migrant workers, and we did so. I would like to give another perspective of one of the things that they came here. You should understand that the bilateral agreement was actually putting the recruitment fees lower than it used to be. It is $2,500 since 2012. I do not see any evidence until now that it's been increased significantly. Of course, this is a lot of money for me as well, college professor, but this amount can be paid for 2 months, 3 months. Of course, if somebody just came to Israel, is still under this bondage. Of course, if somebody made any other investment with the money, obviously, but we know that the money is intensive anyway. The temptation to stay and to harm yourselves in the conflict zones, as Matan mentioned, the Israeli government is also give 2,000 shekels, which is how much is it in baht? You can double it in 10 for any worker, Israeli or Thai, and that's a lot of money, and that's a big temptation to go and work in the conflict areas.
So there's no, sorry that I keep coming to it, but there's no organization that takes more generally the foreign workers helpline in their language. I mean, they are really dependent on the government and on what you can do on the side.
No.
Or...
There is an official governmental organization. It's a non-governmental organization, but it's tied to PIBA, which is the Population of Integration and Migration Minister, that's called CIMI, Center of Integration and Migration. This is a non-governmental organization financed by the government, and it's apply a hotline, quite extend hours, and any foreign workers can reach to this hotline and receives help from the government, from this specific group.
Thank you.
And us as well, as I said.
So thank you very much. Thank you for highlighting the problem with this contract work, which unfortunately is not only for Thai migrants to Israel, it's also for Thai migrants to other parts of East Asia, but more generally, it's also the model that Thailand itself would to implement for migrants from Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. And we see many of the problems you have mentioned also repeated in the context, and maybe would be very important to reflect in this moment that the Thai government is giving attention to their citizens who are currently in danger, to also think about the migrants in Thailand and use it as an opportunity to improve the migration system for both the 1 year and Thai migrant abroad beyond issue of nationality. I think we have a problem with this kind of migration system, which in the end really puts migrants in precarious and often abusive conditions. We, of course, hope that the Thai migrants will be liberated from Hamas. Of course, we hope that there will be a ceasefire. This is my own wish. It doesn't mean it's everyone, but I do wish there will be a ceasefire and peace for this troubled region, whatever the solution may have to be. So we are all concerned about Thai migrants as well, everyone also that is affected by this current situation in Gaza and Israel. Thank you very much for your commitment to Thai migrants, and I hope to continue to be in touch. As I say before, we have had already a long relationship since years ago with some of you, and we hope to continue, but of course for better times and not for worse time, hopefully. So thank you very much again for your effort, and let us know if there is, like someone said also, if there is anything we can do to promote the information or share it in our media or whatever we can also do with our network. This is an event of Junction in collaboration with IPSR, the Institute for Population and Social Research, where I am also affiliated. And of course, I thank you also, my colleagues there who are also in this floor, for collaborating to us on this. Thank you very much, and have a good day as far as you can. Thank you.